All right, so this is gonna be part 2 of the Ferriers Rasp knife build. I cut it kind of short on the first one because I don't want the videos to be super long, but this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna get the bevels and stuff roughed in. We're gonna get it ready for handle. Probably gonna do handle and everything in this video, so we'll be finishing up in this one. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so I've had a thought on the finishing process. I'm gonna borrow, or I'm going to definitely steal, but I'm gonna borrow an idea that I seen Eric over at Rivers Experience channel. Check him out if you haven't. Dude's awesome guy. Met him at Blaze Show. Just really cool channel. Great guy. Like, you know, super awesome. I asked a bunch of questions. He answered them like he's just an all around good guy. Anyway, he did a finish on one of his knives where he left it at a super rough, like 36 grit, I believe, or whatever. This is an old 60, but it's got the, you know, the belt rough finish on it. So what I'm gonna do is go back this way with some 80 grit and scuff up the blade really good and do some ferric chloride scuffing in between and see if I can get a pretty cool pattern on the bevels. And then I'm gonna wire brush, you know, the file and all that stuff and keep going back and forth to get, you know, this patinaed or whatever you want to call it look. So I'm going to try that out, see how it comes out, and go from there. I did a couple seconds in there just to kind of see how it's gonna look, and I think it's going to be the way I go for this one because it's a very cool look. All right, so for handles, I got these 2 pieces. I believe it's mahogany. I'm not quite sure. I have about 50 or 60 pieces of this wood. Had a guy cut them up. It's just offcuts of, I don't remember the exact hardwood, but anyway, just for the sake of the purpose of the video, I'm not really, this isn't going to be like a knife I would sell or, you know, make for, to say, hey, look, I did this. This is more of like a, hey, if you want to do it, kind of, this is how I would do it, and take away from it what you want to take away from it so you can do your own kind of thing. All right, so what we're going to do, lay out the handles. I haven't flattened these yet. I'm just going to go ahead and do the layout process, and then I'll flatten the back, so I'm thinking about that. Anyway, I lay my knife how I want it on there, and I give myself plenty of space on both sides of where the holes are going to be, or, you know, where it's going to end and stop. And I will just trace out, you know, the outline of the knife. Just as like a reference, the coloring the pinhole doesn't matter. It's just a reference deal. So what I will do next is I will lay the knife inside my little outline. I'll drill the first hole, put a pin, and then make sure everything is nice and, you know, flush around all the corners and things like that, and drill the second hole and put a pin. When you pull them apart, it should in theory fit on both sides. Do it like this, and your scales don't shift on you while you're drilling the holes, and you have a pin in the first hole. When you drill the second hole, there's pretty much no way that it can offset itself, because if the pin stops the scales from moving away from the knife, wherever you drill through the second hole will always meet up where the drill bit goes. So, I mean, you can mess it up, because I have done it, so I'm not saying that it's perfect, but for me it works, and I haven't had as many issues with doing it this way as doing it other ways. It would help if I got the correct drill bit. Scratch that. Okay, now that you got your pins in there, holes drilled, take the knife off. They're snug enough to where it's not going to fall apart, so it's, you know, together. Figure out where you want your handle to stop, and go ahead and start shaping it on the grinder. So something I'm going to try on this knife. I've never really thought about it before, but in going with the rough etched bevels and, you know, the wire brushed finish rasp look, what I'm going to do, instead of hand sanding up the fronts of the scales that go, what'll be touching the blade, I guess the ricasso area or whatever. Instead of hand sanding up, I got this old 120 belt and I put it on there, and this wood burns really, really easily. So when I was doing it, cleaning it up, it started to burn, and I actually got a pretty neat even burn pattern on it. So I think I'm going to leave the burn up here, and then the rest of the handle will be hand sanded and be really, really nice. All right, get some epoxy mixed up. I always do too much or not enough. It's like a curse, I think. I either have to really quickly mix up some more, or I have this gob of epoxy left over. So one day I'll get some little measuring cups, or do it the correct way. But nobody who makes knives has ever done the things that they say they're gonna do. I think it's like a thing in the knife making community. Everybody that I know makes knives, everybody that I've met that makes knives or talked to that makes knives, we're all huge procrastinators. It's just a thing. I only went up to a 220 on this one, because this wood, I'll show you in 1 second what I'm talking about. This wood has got this really cool grain structure to it, and any higher grit than 220, it really doesn't, make a difference. So at about 220, a little bit of linseed oil in my filthy hands, but it comes out at a pretty good, polish to it. It's almost like like a rifle stock or something is what it kind of looks like, but that's it. That's where we're gonna leave her at. I like the acid wash when you scrub it. It just come out pretty good. It looks like an old patinaed knife. I'll take some better videos and some better lighting here in a second, but that's a wrap. I appreciate you guys for coming back, hanging out. It's your first time being here, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, appreciate you and your traffic, and hopefully you're subscribed and you like the videos. Feel free to shoot me a comment. Let me know what you want to see in the future. If you like this knife, if you don't like this knife, what you would like to see done different. But that's pretty much it. Came out pretty nice. Thanks, guys.